Blackpink changed K-pop forever? 5 years later, the image highlights a powerful milestone. 5 years since Blackpink released their first full studio project, the album, and that single moment carries a story much bigger than just a date. It represents a journey of growth, global domination, and the evolution of 4 artists who redefined what it means to be a K-pop group on the world stage. This voiceover takes you into that journey, exploring not just the success, but the meaning behind it. 5 years ago, the music industry witnessed something unforgettable. A group that had already been making waves with hit singles finally delivered a complete body of work that fans had been waiting for. The anticipation was massive, the expectations even bigger, but when the album dropped, it didn't just meet expectations, it shattered them. From the very first track, it was clear that this wasn't just another K-pop release. It was a statement. The album brought together powerful beats, global collaborations, and a unique blend of styles that reflected the group's identity. Each song felt like a different chapter, yet everything was connected by a bold, confident energy. It was the sound of artists who knew exactly who they were and weren't afraid to show it. And fans around the world felt that energy instantly. But what made this moment even more special was the journey leading up to it. Before this album, the group had already proven themselves with chart-topping singles, iconic performances, and a growing international fanbase. Still, there was always one question: when will they release a full album? And when they finally did, it felt like a reward for years of patience and loyalty. 5 years later, that same album still holds its power. It's not just remembered, it's still played, still celebrated, still talked about. That's the mark of something timeless. In an industry where trends change quickly, staying relevant for 5 years is not easy. But this project didn't just stay relevant, it became a reference point. Each member brought something unique to the album, and that diversity became one of its biggest strengths. Their voices, styles, personalities blended together to create something that felt complete. You could feel the individuality, but you could also feel the unity, and that balance is rare. The visuals that came with the album were just as impactful. Every music video, every concept, every stage performance was carefully crafted. It wasn't just about the music, it was about the experience. And that experience pulled millions of fans deeper into their world. Over the years, the influence of this album has become even more clear. New artists cite it as inspiration. Fans still revisit it as a defining moment. And critics recognize it as a turning point for global K-pop recognition. It opened doors, broke records, and proved that language is no barrier when the music connects. What's interesting is how the album continues to grow even after 5 years. Streams keep increasing, new listeners discover it every day, and old fans return to it with nostalgia. It has become more than just an album. It's a memory, a moment in time that people hold on to. The message behind the album also plays a big role in its lasting impact. Confidence, independence, power, these themes resonated with listeners worldwide. It wasn't just entertainment, it was empowerment. And that's why it connected on such a deep level. Looking back, it's clear that this wasn't just a release, it was a milestone. It marked a new chapter not only for the group, but for the entire industry. It showed what was possible when talent, vision, and timing come together perfectly. And now, 5 years later, that same energy still lives on. Fans continue to celebrate, discuss, and relive the moments that made the album special. Social media lights up with memories, performances resurface, and the impact feels just as strong as it did on day one. This anniversary is not just about looking back, it's also about looking forward. Because if one album could achieve so much, the question becomes, what comes next? And that excitement is what keeps the fandom alive. The legacy of this album is not just in numbers or records. It's in the emotions it created, the connections it built, and the doors it opened. It represents a time when everything aligned perfectly, creating something that will be remembered for years to come. And as the years pass, one thing becomes clear: this wasn't just their first full album. It was the beginning of something even bigger 5 years later. The impact of Blackpink and their iconic project, the album, still feels unstoppable. What started as a long-awaited debut studio album has now become a symbol of global success, artistic evolution, and cultural influence. But the real story doesn't end with the release. It begins there. After the album dropped, the world didn't just listen, it reacted. Charts across multiple countries lit up, records were broken within hours, and suddenly, Blackpink wasn't just a K-pop group, they were a global phenomenon. The growth that followed. Each member expanded her individual identity while still contributing to the group's unity. Timing is everything, but vision is what makes it legendary. It wasn't just about releasing songs, it was about creating an unforgettable visuals made it stand out in the K-pop industry. What makes this album truly special is its lasting impact. Even today, fans still talk about it, listen to it, and relive the moments it created. The songs carry a strong emotional and energetic vibe that keeps them fresh no matter how much time passes. It's rare for an album to stay this relevant after so many years, but Blackpink achieved exactly that. The reason fans can't forget this album is simple. It was incredibly attractive, both musically and visually. Every track had its own identity, yet together they formed a powerful statement. This album didn't just entertain, it created memories, and that is why, even after 5 years, it still lives on in the hearts and minds of fans.